Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? Golden Kamuy. Are you kidding me right now? Holy crap, bro. I thought Golden Kamuy had a lot of potential, but to see it going at this speed now, to see it like just continuously like jumping in quality, um, it's so unexpected to me. Just the way this story is being told is absolutely like ridiculously dope to watch and to just see happen in general. Um, all the way down to the point of the tricks and like the things that are very unexpected or uncharacteristic of what we had been seeing previously. It just felt this felt new in this type of um, in this type of era to when you do something like that to the extent of I want to say like a Dragon Ball Z or like some type of show that is known kind of for their oh my god like this moment just happened type of deal, but to have it in a show where it's like about it's in the old times. You don't have that many types of like really strong weapons to just be going and using all the time. So it just put me in a good like mood to watch some like war types of movies and stuff like that because of this like turn of events and just the way that they handle this their way. So take that into consideration when you are listening to my review. Like I literally want to see more things like this just because of this anime. One of the most hype moments in this anime that I actually had to like pause and just freak out about was the immortal doing what the immortal does, man. It had a sword point blank. There was no way of stopping it besides catching it with his teeth and to try to get it out of the hands of the other person, the person that's trying to stab him. I feel like that is why it came out of his cheek quicker, like he almost meant for that to happen, because then he would have more of an angle to pretty much stop them from even getting more attacks on, if that, not attacks, but imagine if you stabbed into someone that could like flex their muscles really hard, they could then use that to, um, stop the blade. Like you try to pull it out, and the next attack you swing, you miss. That person who still is holding you in that place, and you're holding the blade, you're pretty much stuck. So you have to just let go of it, and that's what ends up happening. And he tries to use the blade against him. It felt like a really like chopped and screwed kind of like fight. Like it just didn't look that good at some parts. Like he literally gets the blade, and the guy just kind of defends himself perfectly and gets out of the situation altogether. So it just didn't feel as authentic as like it was hard to compare that to what was actually going on. And in my last review, man, I called it. I was like, any character that you really like even enjoy and stuff like that, you should be prepared for like the worst, just because this show, out of all these characters that we have, they're all kind of bad people. Even the immortal to a extent is pretty extreme. So um, I thought it was just cool that they are pretty much not leaving out or ruling out any deaths. Like every character has come into their own. But I mean, the immortal and our huntress, they're just the main characters. But that's how a show like this can make you feel. They can make you feel like you've known the main character, but all along it could really just be the huntress or maybe even the huntress. But just the way this show carries itself, I think that's a really big indication as to why it makes me feel like I don't know what's going on a lot of the times, because I'll be in a situation where they're showing us, hey, this is gonna happen. We got a lot of people with them. It should all work out. And then boom, like everybody for everybody. Like we don't even know who can trust who. People are talking about, oh, I know where the real version is and all this and that. And Um, the messed up part is it kind of made sense why they had to do that. For instance, if they didn't do it, it would have turned into maybe the general dying and them not learning of the basement because they even had somebody trying to literally figure out like what or how you know he had that guy somewhere else. He knew it was a decoy, but he just didn't know where the real one was hidden. So with all that information taken away and only known by one guy, including the person who's trying to figure out that information about the whereabouts of this guy under the ground, the huntress's father I'm speaking about. They're looking for him, and someone can't find him while even working there on the daily, and then come to find out this guy is underneath the chapel where the warden pretty much trains every day. So it's not like anybody could ever like got past him without him knowing, because when he's not working, he's in there training and probably torturing that guy some more, or trying to get some questions out of him, unless he's just like gave up altogether. Uh, but from what we're seeing, though, there was a plan made, and multiple plans after they were made in the sense of they were some very, very deep plotted things that some people didn't know about. So it made a lot of sense why, like the Immortal is mad and probably not trying to let Aspa even, or Huntress even get close to anyone anymore, because he just does it like this is more and more reason why these people could never be trusted in the first place, in his opinion, or he has room to say that even more now. So that's what I really like about the show, because even though he feels that way, there's not really much he can do about it if he wants the gold, if he wants the location. And not only do he want those things, he needs to get it without them uh, posing as much of a threat as they already do. Oh, okay, I thought I reset everything for a second. Um, but yeah, it's pretty amazing just how much they're putting out there with these characters. Because in my opinion, I thought this show was gonna be like pretty, one-dimensional. They go shoot some people die, stuff like that. But really, it's not. There's a huge story behind this. Not only behind it, but now there's a story amongst these like evil people, supposedly in the eyes of the public. And really, we see from their perspective, they're not all that different from the Seventh, and they're not all that different from just the government in general, who is willing to do practically anything to get this stuff the way that they want it. And it's pretty sad to say that our government is the least person that you want to be rooting for it in this moment. So take that into consideration any way you will. And let me know if you guys are enjoying Golden Kamuy. This is one of the animes that I just love to watch it. I don't really care about the source material and stuff of that, in the sense of I want to just see how this anime ends. If they end it in some weird way, and because it feels like they can't end this show um, relatively soon because of what we're seeing right now. Like, we're finding out that the father is really, the guy who supposedly knows all of this about all the stuff about uh, the whatchamacallit. He knows everything about the gold. So that's already like pointing the finger in the sense of he had to be the sole survivor type of deal, or one of the sole survivors if there's more that we didn't know about. And then it comes down to the notion of, if all of this is coming to light, where does when you find all this gold, like, where does it all go, and who has made the plans of like the share, like these guys are all in it for the gold and stuff, but you don't even know who's really on your side at this point. You don't know who's gonna take a knife and just shove it in your back because they can. So that always worries me when it comes to these types of shows, and we might be close to the end of seeing, like the immortal and the huntress girl living a happy life, and just because someone wanted some revenge because they lost in a fight earlier or something, he might get stabbed, mortally wounded or something. Like all of these characters, in my opinion, could have been the main characters of this show just because of how much character, like how much development, how much personality, all of these different things that they have, really just gives you the feeling that, hey, we can make a spinoff around any of these guys and people will watch it because it'll be entertaining. And there's not a lot of shows I can say that about every single character that is seemingly bad too at the same time. Like these are like prisoners who deserve to be locked up behind bars and stuff, and a guy who's fresh out the army who just still kills anybody that gets in his way. So they're not good people, and somehow they have the personality that makes you want to watch more and more and learn about them. So um, I'm hoping there's a season three because where we're at right now, if it ended, it feels like that wouldn't make like that would mean that they're forcing a very hard season two like finale, like literally finale, like everybody about to just get bodied. Immortal's gonna walk out, and the Huntress gonna start crying, and he's gonna still have to fight somebody, and then he beats them, and then they all leave. Like it would be very hard for me to believe that this season's supposed to end here, including I guess if only way I see it is if this guy dies. Like if the guy who knows about the gold dies, no one learns about the gold. They all escape, and they all kind of have to like live their life wondering what if they got the gold type of deal, and the people who didn't really care about the gold in the first place are going to be the only winners. But that feels like a really weak payoff, even though the weakest part of this episode too as well kind of felt like the guy just showing up in front of the immortal. That I felt kind of weak in the sense of um, how long they have been fighting, or like how long has the old man been keeping this guy put, and not only is he keeping him put, he's like tight. They're arm to arm together, and it makes sense that this guy should have been able to get up. But in hindsight, it almost seems like they both die. Because no way should. Oh my God. No way should this old man like make it out if he gets like caught up, like cut up really bad or something like that. And not only is he fighting someone that could pretty much do a lot of damage to him, the guy trains in this, like this has been his fighting style this whole time. So I think this has been like mental preparation for fighting a samurai as the old man's caliber and maybe having a chance. Because I mean, if there was anybody who was coming for that gold and had a chance, it was the seventh division and this old man. As soon as he knew that old man was gone, I'm pretty sure even before then he was probably training. So just in case he did break out and wanted to fight, because he'd never seen himself as old. Calling him old man is just like an insult on my part, because it just means that he's more wise and all this and that. Like he said something way cooler, but it's like it makes you have a perspective and have like a found respect for some of these characters that they're creating in this show, simply put from their actions that they take, from the things that they abide by. There's just not a lot of shows doing this, and not a lot of shows I would care to tell you guys about that have done it, because it probably just didn't translate well. Um, but yeah, from what I'm seeing in this, man, I absolutely adore this show for everything they're trying to put in there. They have the a lot of the troves, but at the same time, they still have fun with this. But seeing the prisoners as well break out and just having the seventh straight up fight them off by themselves, 700 prisoners, I believe, against like I think he said like 600 or something of his troops or something. I forgot when he like threatened the immortal. He told him how many troops he had. So he's like, "Are you really gonna try?" I think he had over 1,000. I think he was just counting. I think counted everybody that he brought, not even just the people that were with them in there. So it's like even if you got out, there's gonna be people waiting for you out there that I've formed to kill everybody that's here. So there's no way you're getting out because everybody here is aimed to kill. Um, so what are you gonna do? And by letting out 700 of the deadliest criminals all at once, it seemed like that's also like all of these seemed very suspiciously planned. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what we need just in case they come in here? What? We need a lever that opens up every single prison gate, even from an opposite side that would, block them in and make it so they can't leave. Like, it seemed like some final ditch effort, and not only did it have it in the most convenient place where all the deadliest people, it also just so happened to be where his decoy was placed. So it seemingly was his plan in the whole freaking time to get someone to try to go in there, have one of his guards that know about the lever, pull it, and because of that, all the people who come in literally get killed by criminals. It sounds like poetic justice to these corrupted people. So that's just the type of show you're dealing with. But with that, everybody, I'm gonna end it there. I could go on longer because this show actually really helped my mood after all the things that are going on and still going on in my life. But hey, we all got to find something to make us happy. And if it was just this crazy episode for me that I didn't expect to be very good, I mean, I guess I did. The build up for the last week's episode to this week's was pretty obvious it was about to be fire. So it lived up to the hype. I didn't expect it to live up to such a big hype, and it did. And more is to come with the immortal finding Huntress's dad and noticing the eyes. So we can only imagine what happens next, guys. So if you haven't subscribed here, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, drop a like for me, and share the video because all those things help the channel grow as any way possible, really. And I want to thank you guys so much for continuously supporting your boy and not leaving the channel. So with that, I will continue to grind and keep giving you more content. Tokyo Ghoul and Black Clover, two very hype moments are happening in both of those shows. So if you guys are watching this before I put up anything, drop in the comments down below that you want Tokyo Ghoul or you want Black Clover first. And if I see any comments towards any of those, I will drop that first. So with that, my anime people, have an awesome night, day, evening, and I am the Anime G, and with that, I will talk to you in the next one. Alright, peace.